where 6 people have been arrested in connection with Wednesday's cracker factory blast in Sivakasi. Those held include the lease owners of the factory, where 37 people were killed in the blast. While Paul Pandya and his brother were arrested by the cops for compromising on safety norms, an FIR has also been registered against the owner of the factory who had leased it out. 37 people were killed in the tragedy yesterday and several others were injured. The factory operated despite its license being cancelled. The factory continued to work despite that to meet demands for the upcoming Diwali season. Well, Priyamada now joins us from Sivakasi with the latest. Priyamada, there have been some arrests in the case. I believe those who've been arrested are the ones who had the lease to run this factory. But what about the owner? Is he still on the run?
Absolutely, 2 persons who were running the factory, because the original owner had leased it out to one other person who was running the factory. He, Paul Pandian, and his brother were arrested late in the night, and of course now the police are on the lookout for the original owner whose name the factory has been registered. But the saddest thing is it's the biggest violation. Probably more investigation is needed to find out and give answers for some of the crucial questions. If indeed the raids were conducted on 28th of this month and license was cancelled of the factory, why wasn't the factory sealed? Why wasn't the factory shut? Why did the officials allow it to function for one more day? And the headlines today got the witnesses' account, the workers who are working there, who very clearly admit there was overload of not just the explosives violating the rules, overload of workers, and on top of everything, their bosses had forced them to hurry up, to work quickly, to wrap up, because he had got the indication that the factory is going to be sealed. So how did he get that indication? And what exactly was happening? So these are some of the unanswered questions for which the details are needed. Right now, even as I'm talking to you, forensic officials are conducting tests in the site area, in the blast area.
All right. So, Priyamada, as you're telling us, preliminary investigations clearly revealing that the factory owners did compromise on safety rules that led to this tragedy, one of the worst tragedy in Sivakasi in 2 decades. Priyamada, it's a clear case of disregard of safety norms that have been put in place. We know 6 arrests have taken place. The owner of this factory is yet to be traced. But is there a likelihood of action against the officials as well who failed to act, who failed to seal this factory despite having no license to function?
Well, I would say this accident wouldn't have happened if there was no human greed. It's a blatant violation of the rules. There were 40 violations, and this factory apparently violated all the 40 violations. And that owner, if he had wrapped up, if he had shut down the factory, and if the government authorities had ensured that the factory was shut down on time, this wouldn't have happened. This tragedy wouldn't have happened. As far as the onlookers are concerned, there were 500 of them. But police did manage to shoo away the onlookers. They did. That is the reason why the death toll was at least 37. I'm not underestimating the number, but then the police, even the police personnel got hurt in this entire process. There were quarries near this area. There were 500 onlookers who were rushing to see what was happening. So crowd management became a big challenge for the police who were not prepared for it. Akash, I should also tell you the place, the location in which this particular factory is. It's in fact humanly inaccessible. Roads are pathetic. It's with narrow roads, bad road conditions. The fire tenders reached the spot with great difficulty. We reached the spot with great difficulty. So imagine how would it have been for the fire tenders and ambulance to reach the spot with great difficulty. It's in the middle of a nondescript place. It's in the middle of a forest. Roads are badly maintained. This accident just reflects the reality. It throws open so many questions. Corruption, human negligence, human greed, and bad maintenance of the roads. So it just throws out so many lacunas in our system, which has resulted in deaths of so many innocent persons.
Well, let's just hope there's no repeat horror story from Sivakasi. Priyamada, thank you for joining us and getting us the latest from there.